Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name's Hannah, and today we're going to be discussing my TBR for the month of January. So we are actually already on the 4th of January, and I have not finished a book yet this year. I seriously need to pick up the pace because I'm still on the book that I ended the year on, but in my defense, okay, I was on holiday at the end of the year. I went down to London to celebrate New Year's with some amazing people. They know who they are. And which meant that my reading time, and plus my reading schedule has just been all over the place for the end of the year, which you probably will know if you look back. I haven't posted in a long time thanks to mental health struggles in uni. And I have still read, but just a significantly slower and more kind of like chilled out pace. And plus, I have tried to introduce a lot more nonfiction into my reading diet, if that makes sense, which in itself has meant, again, a more slower pace of reading. But that's just me making excuses. But anyway, Intermezzo by Sally Rooney was the last book of the year last year, and it is now the first book I'm going to be completing of the year now, because it's kind of bled through to this year and the next month, which is kind of weird to think that I started this last year and I'm still reading it, but I've only been reading it for maybe about 6 days or a week, which probably doesn't sound bad to you guys, but that is just slow for me. But that has kind of been my reading speed for the past 6 months. But anyway, Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I feel like you would have to be living under a rock if you're watching a booktube video and you haven't heard of Sally Rooney. She is an award-winning author from Ireland, and her writing is just... This is my first Sally Rooney, I'll have you know, and I'm already head over heels with her work. This is about a chess prodigy and his older brother that's 10 years older than him, and you kind of follow the two brothers as they struggle to navigate the fallout of their father's death. There's a lot of difficult emotions, there's a lot of tension between the two brothers, and their love lives make things a lot more complicated. The pace is incredibly slow, but the character work and it's so worth it, and it's amazing, and it's everything that I thought Sally Rooney would be, but also there's a few surprises in there too. I loved it. I say that I finished it. I still have maybe another 100 pages, so I'm hopefully gonna finish that today, and I will finally have finished my first book of the year 4 days in, which feels ridiculous, but if you're a normal person, that probably doesn't sound too bad. But for me, it feels like I'm behind already, Anyway, the next book I plan on picking up is a nonfiction, and it is about alchemists. It's called The Alchemist by F. Sherwood Taylor, and if you don't know what alchemy is, it's basically the precursor to chemistry. A lot of it we wouldn't necessarily associate with science today, and it would be more something you would find in a fantasy book on your bookshelf. Those are my fantasy books over on this shelf here. Alchemy has been referenced in so many books, but to a lot of people in history, it was a science for hundreds, if not thousands of years. From antiquity into the early modern period, people were practicing alchemy, and it's a big part of the way the world was understood, and just medieval science in general. And that's my era. I love medieval history, and that's what I want to be when I leave uni, and that's what I want to train to be once I move on to postgraduate work, is a medievalist. And this just feels like it's gonna tickle my intellectual fancy, so I'm gonna be reading about alchemy. And then I'm gonna be reading a classic. One thing I want to do this year. One of my reading goals is to read the entirety of my Sherlock collection. So I'm going to be rereading The Study in Scarlet and reading for the first time The Sign of Four. Because I want to start from the start, and it has been maybe about 2-3 years since I've read The Sign of Four. I was like 18, 19 at the time, and it was for an English class in my first year of uni, and oh my god, I loved it. I loved the writing, and I loved the BBC show, which I know could not be more different, and there's just so many adaptations of Sherlock, but yeah, I just feel like I need to properly dive in and know the source material, because I feel like I would have an amazing time doing so. So I'm going to try and fit in one of these every month this year. So, well, not every month, because I will probably finish them about halfway through the year, but every month until I finish my collection, I'm going to be reading a Sherlock story. So I'm excited about that. And then I am going down the historical fantasy route, or the historical murder mystery / fantasy. I don't know exactly, but there's a murdered alchemist and a spy of Elizabeth I is mentioned, and we're in 1588 Prague. So there's Prague. Yeah, that's why I'm going with Prague. Sorry for my pronunciation. That was so horrendous of me. I'm sorry. Prague. And yeah, I don't know much else about this. It's just when I saw this on the shelf at the bookstore, it called out to me, and I just had to have it. So yeah, we're going to Prague and learning a little bit about alchemy and a historical murder mystery, and maybe with some fantastical elements. I don't know what to expect in that regard, but yeah, I'm excited. And then probably the thinnest book you have ever seen, I feel like it's a little bit more like a booklet rather than a book, but it's The Wars of Scottish Independence, A History from Beginning to End. This is just me reading up and refreshing my memory on the chronology of the War of Independence, because one of the classes I'm taking this coming semester, starting in January, is the Wars of Independence, and I want to be as prepared as possible and have kind of like all the facts and things I need for like a basic understanding before going in, so that I can be as prepared as possible. And at the very least, this will refresh my memory. If not, it may even provide me with a fact or two that I didn't know. So we shall see. And then we're going down the archaeological fantasy route, which I've heard of historical fantasy, but archaeological fantasy is amazing. I've came across amazing archaeological fantasy like ideas and things in the past before. This is another YA, and it's kind of giving me what the river knows in terms of like genre archaeological fantasy. If you know, you know. If you've read What the River Knows and Where the Library Hides, those are some of my favourite YAs that I've read recently. This is another YA. We have a 17-year-old Sylvie, and her parents have joined an encampment run by an archaeological professor. She's got all this new freedoms, and she's interacting with the students of the archaeological professor, but her dad's became overbearing, and you know, they're exploring a site that was known for some sort of like very ominous and dark rituals in the past, and those begin to bleed into the present. So yeah, it sounds really amazing. It's not too long at all, so I feel like this is going to be a good one. And then we're going for a Scottish classic. The Quarry Wood by Nan Shepherd. I've read Nan Shepherd before. I've read her non-fiction. I read that back in maybe July or August last year, and oh my god, I adored her writing. She went to the same uni as me back in the day. I think it must have been like the 1900s. She went to my uni. She was born maybe about half an hour away from where I live, and like I've just never felt so connected to an author before. And yeah, I feel like I needed to read this. This is about a girl, and I have a funny feeling that, you know, she's fighting for her right to a higher education in a time where it just wasn't the norm. I mean, we're probably talking about a time where women didn't have the right to vote. Economic rights of women were abysmal and things like that. So it feels like this is going to be a very good read, and a very, like, one that I'm going to appreciate the fact that I'll be sitting at the same university that this author went to, and really appreciate where I am, and, you know, really appreciate that I have this higher education that not everyone's got the opportunity to have. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I feel like you're so busy at uni that you don't really stop to smell the flowers and appreciate where you are half the time. So yeah, this will be amazing. And we have another chess book. If you can tell, I am in a bit of a chess phase. Well, I wouldn't even say it's a phase. It's a new obsession of mine, and I'm currently trying to learn a ton of theory and improve my game and things like that, and I'm just really excited about it. And this is a YA called Check and Mate. This is a YA kind of romance story. I believe we have 2 seniors in high school, and one of them wants to leave chess behind. The other is still pretty happy with chess. They play against each other, and I believe there's feelings involved. And I believe this is Ali Hazelwood's one YA. I have read Ali Hazelwood before, but, you know, and I enjoyed that, but I feel like I'm gonna enjoy this even more. Because I can know vaguely what I'm talking about when I'm talking about chess, and I couldn't with her Stemmesis stuff, because science, I know vague things about science and have vague ideas, which is something I definitely want to correct and buy books in order to correct in the future my understanding of science. But I just feel like this is going to be a little bit more up my alley. And then the final book, Macbeth by William Shakespeare himself. I have put this on my TBR for the month because not only do I want to try and make my way through my Shakespeare collection, but I believe that a recording, or not like a recording, but a filmed version of Macbeth starring David Tennant is coming to cinemas in February, and I wanted to have read Macbeth in preparation to see that in cinemas, because I'm definitely seeing that in cinemas. And plus, Macbeth has been something I've wanted to read for forever. It's the play, it's the Scottish play, it's the play that should not be named, you know, like, there's just so much infamy around it, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to delve into this one. It even feels a little bit weird saying the name out loud here in my room. That's how much it's captured my imagination and how excited I am to get to this. Am I a bit sad that I have to wait until the end of the month to read it? A little, but I am still super stoked and excited. So yeah, with all that being said, this is our pile. We have a literary fiction, a historical non-fiction, a classic, a historical fiction / fantasy, a historical non-fiction, a archaeological fantasy, a Scottish classic, a YA romantic fiction, I guess, and a classic play. So we're very much all over the place with genres, but that's a good thing. I love having different genres, and, you know, being able to dip in and out of all these different genres. And there's definitely a few things that are going to be, something I can really sink my teeth into, and other things that I can pick up when I'm feeling like, okay, I need a little bit of a palate cleanser after all that. So, it's good. It's really good. So hopefully I get through all of this. There's 9 books in there in total. I did only plan for 9, but Intermezzo bled into the following year and the following month. So we've just got the deal, and we'll see how it all plans out by the end of the month. But with all that being said, thank you for watching. It's been so long, and it's so good to finally be able to speak to you guys for the first time in forever. I'm so happy to be feeling better, to be, finally on top of uni, and we'll see how that continues into the next semester. Fingers crossed. And we'll see how everything goes, but I'm happy to have filmed a video for you guys today. And with all that being said, I shall see you guys next week, where I plan on waking up every day at 5 p.m. Sorry, my dog just jostled the door. I think either that or it was a gust of wind. Probably my dog. Anyway, where I plan on next week, I plan on waking up every day at 5 a.m. to see how much more I get read, basically. Which is a stupid to do that during the holidays when I have the option of sleeping in, and should I probably wait until I don't have the option of sleeping in? Yes, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. So yeah, I will see you for that exciting week, and I shall see you then. Bye.